supposed to stay in my head. It's not
Ladies and gentlemen,
This is
and
a
children
celebration.
of all ages.
A celebration.
That's right, it's a celebration. It's the 20th episode of Big Chat.
We made it to 20.
That's right.
Film
Big Chat,
Banter.
the Film Banter.
20th episode.
Courtesy of Big Chat. Yes, that's us. Your very favorite arrogant, pompous douchebags. We're back once again.
This is the budget celebration because these don't make sounds.
Yeah, this is the budget celebration.
Thanks a lot, Dollar Store.
Thank you, Dollar Store, for all that you've done for us and all that
All right,
crap.
I'm tossing this dumb hat.
You are?
It's terrible.
All right, very well then.
We did dress up for the occasion.
We did dress up for the occasion. Notice
You know,
I'm
a little
wearing
bit.
my little suit here.
This is nice.
Chris, you're way completely in the frame, and I, of
I'm
course,
sat
am
over.
completely not in the frame.
We are both in the frame.
So, no. If I move over here, now I'm in the fucking
You
frame.
were going to block the chair. That's why you were sitting
I don't
over
want
there.
to block Nut Chair. Now I can't tickle her. I can't tickle her little face.
It's
I can't.
fine.
I can't tickle her face. I just see the hand up there. There's the hand.
It's fine
There's
the way
the
it
hand
is.
up there. Okay.
Anyway,
so,
welcome
ladies
to our
and gentlemen,
20th
yes.
show. We're very excited.
Yes, welcome to our 20th show.
You all right?
Yeah, I'm fine. How are you?
I'm good. I'm excited. We made it to 20.
I'm excited. We did make it to 20.
5 months
5 months.
of
That's right. Congratulations
film
to you,
bantering.
sir. A pleasure. It's an honor. It's a privilege.
It has been
it's always good
one
to
of the
be,
greatest joys of recent memory. Yeah.
It's certainly
a lot
a
of fun.
thrill. You're such a lovely audience. We'd love to take you home with us.
We
We'd
hope
love
you
to
guys
take
love
you
it.
home. We do. We do like doing this show. I don't know why
I'm taking
we
this
do.
off.
You gonna take the tie off?
It's not comfortable.
Okay, dude. If you're taking the tie off, I'm taking my tie off too.
You can take yours off.
That means that most people should not see me with this.
We're just doing it for.
But we're just doing it for
fun.
laughs, for shits and
The
giggles.
blazer I like though, and I got my flash
For
shirt.
shits
tonight.
and giggles, I say. I don't know if you can see the illustrious velveteen look.
It's
of
a very
this.
nice material.
It's really quite.
Show them the
quite
beautiful Professor shoulder pads.
Oh,
or
yes.
elbow pads.
That's right. Right from Yale. Right from
You
the
can see them
Ivy
here.
League of Harvard.
You might have to go
As
like
I
this.
climbed up those ivy walls. There we go, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah.
So anyway,
He
here we
bought
are.
that just for tonight, by the way.
I did. I had to because I had no jacket.
Now you do.
And
An
of
excuse
course,
to buy a
this
jacket.
man is getting married very shortly, so I needed a jacket anyway.
Thank
so
you.
therefore, I assumed the
Down the
missionary
road,
position,
you'll be
and I went and
dressed up nice for my wedding. Thank
I
you.
shall indeed. Well, I who knows? Who knows what lurks? I don't know. I almost feel like I should put the tie back on.
Put it back on.
Okay.
It
At
looks
least
good,
just to do
actually.
that. Hey, yeah, 5 months down the drain. Hey.
But I would like to check
But
in and see how you're feeling. I think you're feeling better than last week, right?
I do feel better than last week. Last week I was going through some
Lot
sort
of
of a
pain.
strange
Yeah.
intestinal bypassing sort of thing. Not really. That's not true. But I had a little bit of food poisoning.
Yeah.
And I noticed the concerned look on my
He
friend's
was
face.
in bad shape.
I was in very much pain.
He
In
didn't
fact,
look
if you
good.
don't want to watch last week's episode, please do not, because it was worthless. It was just garbage. So anyway,
I disagree. It's a good episode.
Well, I thought
You were
I
fine.
didn't think it was that bad.
No.
I wasn't my usual, ridiculous self though.
But that's okay.
I was more of a serious reviewer. But that's not bad either. So there we go. So shall we begin?
We're going to begin the show. Yeah.
All
And
right.
I guess I'll start out with, excuse me,
It's going
as
all
I
right.
choke
So
on my
listen, you're a
delicious
real human being.
cappuccino.
Well, thank you very much. I'm glad you enjoyed
I
it.
do enjoy it. Yeah, so I'm going to start. First film tonight is fresh in theaters as of last week.
Yeah.
Gold, starring Matthew McConaughey.
Matthew McKinda-Gay.
Yeah.
Matthew McKinda-Gay.
Maybe in those days where he did those like shirtless movies.
Well, no, don't you
He
remember
appealed
how
to that
he was?
audience.
Don't you remember when the police were called to his
Oh no,
home
he
in
was naked
Beverly
playing the
Hills?
bongos.
He was naked playing the bongos.
But I don't know if there's any
with-
gay activities going on.
Well, you don't know that. I mean, why would somebody be naked playing the bongos?
He was
I don't
home
know.
by himself having a
No,
good
he
time.
wasn't. No,
Oh, that's
he
right, there were
had
other men
another-
there.
There was another man there.
But they're secure in their
Yeah, but they're
in their heterosexuality.
Oh, yeah, they're secure in their heterosexuality.
Hetero.
I suppose that's probably true.
I don't care if he's gay.
I don't care if
I
he's
still enjoy him as an
gay
actor.
or not. He's, it's all right.
All right, so
That's what I
Gold, if you're not aware, it's kind of an obscure movie.
It's an obscure film.
In the film,
It is in theaters now, however.
it's in theaters now.
2016 or 2017 film.
I think it's technically a 2016 film.
Okay.
I think it had a limited release last year to try to get some Oscar bait. It didn't, but it's still playing.
What is the film about?
In the film, it's actually apparently inspired by true events, so we don't know how much of the story is actually true.
Okay.
But he plays a guy who in the early 80s was a prospector, but on the corporate end almost. He's the guy that would raise money to go to these potential mines to extricate gold or copper or whatever the
Sort of in
precious
the treasure
mineral.
of Sierra Madre kind of.
You could say that, but he's again,
prospector.
he's more of the salesman who's going to get the money. The actual prospector.
He's a prospector.
Yeah, in this film, the prospector is played by Edgar Ramirez, who you may remember from recent memory, Hands of Stone, the boxing film with De Niro.
Yeah, horrible film. Horrible movie.
But yeah, nevertheless, in the film, this is him. It's like a family business.
Yeah.
His father and his great-grandfather, they were all in the business.
Yeah.
And so he's inherited this business. His father is played by Craig T. Nelson, wants him to kind of take over the company.
I'm surprised Craig T. Nelson's still around.
He's in the film briefly, but he's in the film. And so Bryce Dallas Howard, Ron Howard's daughter, plays his wife in the film.
I like Bryce Dallas.
So the film is obviously very 80s. The outfits are very 80s. Everything about it's very 80s, excess, that kind of thing.
Yeah, very 80s.
So he goes over to Indonesia and he meets up with Edgar Ramirez, who is a prospector who has potentially found a gold mine in Indonesia, way out in the mountains.
Okay.
And so McConaughey gets very excited. This has been his dream to kind of put his stamp on a gold mine.
Okay.
And so he goes to... Silly.
Oh, I'm sorry.
He goes to raise the money to get this thing going. So that's what the story is. Eventually, obviously, they do find gold. And then there's obviously a lot of conflict.
Are you giving things away now?
No. We know, because in the trailer you know that they find gold. Hence the title.
I haven't seen the trailer.
Well,
I didn't know they found gold.
They find gold. The movie's called Gold. Of course they're going to find gold.
Well, you don't know that.
Anyway, I'm not going to say what else happens in the film.
Matthew might have gold teeth.
So,
he might have gold teeth
anyway,
in his mouth.
This is one of those films that, you can kind of say it's a performance film because Matthew goes full method. He gained all this weight for this role.
Yeah.
He's got a receding hairline going on. He's a mess.
Okay.
His character's like a hard drinker. He's an alcoholic, you could say.
Well, after all those Lincoln commercials, he probably needs to start drinking and,
It's true. So anyway, was it a good performance from Matthew? I think it's excellent. I thought he did a fantastic job.
Really?
Yeah, I really enjoyed it.
Now let me
ask you
this.
Very entertaining performance.
I'd like to ask you a brief question because you did just see Sea of Trees.
I did, yes.
And Sea of Trees came out probably in like the middle of last year, 2016.
Yeah.
Sea of Trees about a Japanese forest
Suicide
where people
forest.
go to do to kill themselves, to off their persons. And I thought Matthew was extraordinary in that film.
He was very good in that film.
Was he as good in this film as he was in that, or perhaps better?
I think it's a great performance in a different way. This performance has many elements of comedy, whereas Sea of Trees, there probably wasn't even a note of comedy.
No, there was not a note
so
of comedy.
This is a different performance from him. He commands the screen pretty much the entire film.
Yeah.
And I think it's one of his better ones. I think it's excellent.
And Nora, you or I saw that miserable Civil War movie he did.
I didn't want to see it. United States of Jones.
I tried to watch that film, and I got about.
I'll see it eventually.
I got about a quarter of the way into it, and I had to turn it off. I just wasn't into it too much. But,
I'm not.
It's called Free State of Jones.
What did I say? United States of Jones. It's Free State of Jones.
It is Free State. That's what I'm correcting you, sir.
Maybe I'll see it on video eventually, but it's not a priority. But anyway,
it's not often I can correct you with
true.
the title of a film, but this time I've done it.
Thank you for doing it.
Thank you. You're very welcome. On our 20th episode, it's good to be the king.
Just to recap, Gold, I think it's a lot of fun. You had mentioned to me when I told you that I was going to go see it that it was getting mixed reviews.
Horrible reviews. I believe was the terminology that I did.
I was thinking during the film about that, and I said to myself, you know what? I'm really enjoying this film. I'm not sure what they were picking apart.
So now you can really see.
Now you can see it. Yes.
I kind of feel like a professor.
Yes.
I feel like a professor.
We're professors of film.
Now, wait just a minute. Let me get my prop. Please continue talking.
Please do. You decided to break it out?
Yeah, no, I have a prop here.
Okay.
Okay. Let me find my prop.
Anyway, Gold, check it out. I really did enjoy Gold. I think it's I like the pipe.
That's right. So here we are. I'm just talking to you now.
I like it. It's fairly Sherlock Holmes-esque.
No, it just has that professor sort of thing. All right, young lady, I think you need to come after school for some extra special attention.
I can imagine the kind of attention you're hoping for.
That's right.
How badly does she want that A?
Hey, wait, how about this?
Sears, 1995. No, Sears,
Yeah.
29.95.
Exactly.
You see the guy with the pipe,
Yeah, you're right. Yeah, the catalog. Yeah.
I know, there's horrible catalogs.
Silly.
There you go.
Anyway, just to finish up a little bit on Gold, I really thought it was a good film.
You liked it?
I did enjoy it. I really enjoyed it. It was very entertaining. It takes you through this whole crazy adventure kind of a thing where he goes through.
It was certainly more entertaining than this review. That's for sure.
Well, you keep interrupting me. You don't.
No, but I'm just saying that it's it's a review that is just of a film that was a performance film.
Yeah, I mean it's not a film that's gonna just change anybody's life.
It's not gonna change anybody's life.
But
did it change anybody's life?
No, but it's an entertaining story. I thought
was the script good? Was it?
I liked it honestly. I thought it was well done. It was written. It was directed, and I believe it was written by Stephen Gahan. I think that's how you say his name. Gagan.
Like Matthew McConaughey.
He was a guy that wrote
Matthew,
Traffic.
I'm kind of gay.
Okay,
go
Traffic.
ahead.
Anyway, But it's
Very well.
I'd like to know how much of it is based on true events, but because there's
You
a
would?
stock market.
You care?
I don't know. It's
Okay.
interesting.
Okay.
But there's also some good supporting performances by Bruce Greenwood's in it, who you will notice.
I don't know him, but I don't
You know Bruce Greenwood's been in a million movies.
Bruce Greenwood.
Yeah.
I probably would know him by
You know his
sight,
face.
but I do not know
Doesn't
him.
matter. Corey Stoll's in this, who I liked a lot. He was
we
from
spent
Ant-Man.
9 minutes on this damn
It
review.
hasn't been 9
Look,
minutes.
it's 7:39, bozo.
But I didn't start talking till probably 7:35 because we had the opening.
Well, the opening was only approximately.
No,
we
that was like
got on time
5
around
minutes.
7:30. The
No,
opening
it was probably
maybe
about 5 minutes.
7:30.
Doesn't matter. We're
It
wasting
doesn't
time.
matter. We are.
I liked Gold. I give it 3 stars.
You recommend people to go see it?
You could go see it. I would say go see it.
Would you?
Yeah.
Go to the theater to see it.
I mean, you don't have to see it in the theater, but
You
if
don't
you're
have
looking,
to.
if you're looking for something this weekend, and it's between this and Resident Evil, which we haven't seen, I would say go see this.
So, in other words,
If you're looking for something, you come to the right place.
Yes,
okay.
I liked it. I really enjoyed it.
I can see that you did.
It's an
And I'm glad that you
entertaining
did.
film.
It's
And I think
mildly
you'll be
entertaining.
entertained.
But it probably would be more entertaining. It's not a big screen film, though, by
You
any
don't need to
means.
see it on the big
This is a
screen,
film
no.
that you can
But
very
there is some
happily
beautiful
sit
photography.
at home and
It's
create
beautifully
your own,
shot.
Your own popcorn bowl that you may cover your scrotum with. And enjoy just as much at home as you would in the
yes,
theater.
you could.
All right, very well. All right, we're now going to move on for a next film. In fact, you might note the subtitle has now
There will
come
be
onto
there
the screen. There will be there
soon.
shortly. Courtesy of this man, my illustrious producer and executive producer.
For those that don't know,
Mr. Chris Pickhardt.
you might not know, we always upload these episodes with full editing.
Full editing.
Usually Wednesday, Thursday to
Horrible
our Facebook
music.
page.
Horrible. Please don't.
He doesn't like the theme
Don't
music.
even
We're going to
look
be
at
changing
the music.
it.
And don't even listen to the.
I like
to
it.
The
I happen to
cinematic,
think it's great, but he doesn't like it.
misery that encapsulates.
We're going to
our
compromise
audio,
on a new
our
track.
audio soundtrack. We are going to
Anyway.
change the soundtrack for those of you who do watch the post-production.
If you would like to watch
show.
it, again,
If you
it's
do
on our
like that,
Facebook page. Just
if
look
you
up
do like that.
Film Banter
It's a little mouse
on Facebook.
for you.
Hey, shh.
All right, so our next film is called A Monster Calls.
Yes.
This is a very bizarre little film. It is not a happy film. It is about a young boy who is dealing with the death of his mother. His mother is played by the constantly working. This girl, you can see the sweat running down her brow because she is so overworked in movies these days. None other than Miss Felicity Jones.
Well, you got to strike while the iron's
And
hot.
we love
and take the
Felicity.
roles.
No, the woman is phenomenal. She was in Theory of Everything, which I loved, with our Academy Award-winning Eddie Redmayne, who won for playing
Redmayne.
Redmayne, potato. But Eddie is fine and so forth. But Felicity is just turning into a wondrous actress. She's being utilized pretty much by everybody these days. It's only a short amount of time before Spielberg and, well, not Steven. He's not kind of doing that many films anymore, except for BFG, which
That's coming
that big
soon.
fucking giant film. But I didn't care for that movie too much. But anyway, it's interesting I mentioned that film because this has kind of a similar feel.
Yeah, that's
if
what I was
any
thinking
of you
when I
have
saw the
seen
trailer.
Guardians of the Galaxy and are familiar with a character called Groot, okay, played by Vin Diesel, the illustrious and always mildly mesmerizing and simplistically entertaining Mr. Vin Diesel. He's a wonderful actor, though. I actually like him on a more of a charisma basis. He's not the best actor in the world, as we know. However, he plays Groot. And in this film, A Monster Calls, Liam Neeson plays Groot. He plays this creature, this big giant tree character. And the tree is very important. The tree represents childhood. It is kind of the Citizen Kane. It is the Rosebud, if anyone has any little film mental repertoire in their brains to just handle the world of cinema. We all know what Rosebud represents by Orson Welles' standard. It represented youth. And this creature is something that this young boy who's dealing with his mother's death from a horrifying cancer. We don't actually know what kind of cancer she has, but it's not really important. She's dying. And I'll tell you this, this is one of Felicity Jones's best performances. I was so blown away by her. I'm going to look at you now. I've sworn not to look at you, though,
Yes,
because it
you
does
can't help
feature
it.
my incredible techie-like neck.
Don't worry
However,
about it.
this is a great little movie, and I really love this film a lot. And I look so debonair in my jacket. Don't you think?
I like the
what's
coat.
your name again? Oh, Chris.
I
That's
complimented your coat.
Yes, so anyway, as I was saying, I do believe that this... No, I'm sorry, I'm getting carried away in my own manure. But the truth of the matter is that this is a great little film. Sigourney Weaver plays the grandmother, plays Felicity Jones's mom. It's really a devastating film. I have to be honest with you. It is about loss. It is about dealing with loss. So naturally, I was doubly affected as I sat here and cried my freaking eyes out, which I did. I have had loss in my life, most recent. So I did find this to be a hard film to watch at times, mostly towards the end. Liam Neeson is wonderful. They have Batmanized his voice, so I'm Batman. So Liam Neeson talks through a very strong megaphonian type creation to give him that ultra low Clint Eastwood Batman voice. It's wonderful. It's a booming. It's a great movie. The kid in this movie, spectacular, spectacular. I love this film. It never catered to children. It always remained adult throughout. There's a wondrous thing that happens very soon into the film, where this little boy who is going through this horrible grief from his mom basically not reacting to the chemotherapy, and she's dying. So there are kids, there's 3 kids that beat him up on a daily basis. Of course, we know the revenge scene is coming shortly to a popcorn dish near you, and it comes blissfully beautiful. I love it when we see those bullies just get what's coming to them. It's just wondrous. And you're sitting here in your chair going, kill him, you little son of a bitch.
There's not many things that are more satisfying.
There's nothing more satisfying than seeing some
There was a good one like that
bully.
in Moonlight.
Also,
a good revenge in Moonlight.
you're going to see it also in The Dressmaker if you ever get to it.
Yes.
That had a similar kind of a thing of a flashback type nature. But this film, I tell you, it's wonderful. Sigourney Weaver. I felt Sigourney was overacting just a notch. Her British accent wasn't as authentic as I would have liked it to be. But this is a very satisfying film. I recommend it wholeheartedly. It was very touching. It was sweet. It was wonderful. It was amazing. It felt as real as grief could possibly be portrayed on
that gives
on
a
film
nice
screen.
element of depth, because you really can't grasp that element of it when you look at a trailer. So
Very
it's nice
true.
to hear your perspective. So now I'm more interested in seeing it than I initially would have been.
Yeah. The film itself is just beautifully made, and it's a magnificent piece of just the and I don't want to get too carried away here because I know we have other films to do, but the special effects involving this large tree-like creation played by Liam Neeson, spectacular. Just amazing, and spectacular is my go-to word, ladies and gentlemen.
But it's okay.
If you know me, you know I like to use the word spectacular, and I do. So that was little Michael Caine for you there. But
not a bad Michael Caine.
Thank you. Now I'm doing a bad one, but Michael's got that sort of money. He's got a little cockney going on. He's got a little cockney going. But anyway, all right. We are now going to move right into. I do wholeheartedly recommend A Monster Calls. I do believe it is still playing at the theater, but it may not be. You may have to wait for it to be.
Out.
However, it is a big screen film. It's not a
I
film
would tell that,
necessarily to see on the small screen, although it's going to play just as well on a small screen as it is on
with
a large.
these TVs these days, like
this is not a film for kids.
one.
However, please, the Felicity Jones. Oh God, there's a couple scenes there where she just looks so god awful, and in fact, there's one scene where she looks so small that we see her from the back. Forgive me as I burp, but we see her from the back, and I knew that it was they used a young girl to play her because they wanted to give the illusion that she was so suffering from this cancer. But I'll tell you, it's really a devastating movie, and not for the young man who is in the film should probably not be able to see it. This kid is so good. He is a future Oscar winner. I kid you not. He blew me away. I love this movie. I cannot recommend A Monster Calls enough.
Great.
I loved it.
I loved it.
However, don't watch this as a double feature with Manchester by the Sea. You are going to jump off a cliff with a noose hanging around your neck. You will end your life. This is not a film to go any near sharp objects or razor blades or anything like that after you see a film like this, because it's a sad film, and it is not. I will say this very briefly. Film watching is an art form unto its own. And what I mean by that is when we watch a very, very sad film, as I did with A Monster Calls, I then went and watched a film that I'm going to be reviewing shortly. Look at our wonderful professional list here. But I then went and watched a film called Edge of 17, which is a teenage comedy / drama. And it was the perfect remedy It
good
is so
follow-up.
important to watch. If you're a multi-movie watcher, and if you have multi-cats, for God's sakes, get a multi-cat litter, damn it, you people out there. But I will say that it's very important what films we watch in patterns, in order.
Yeah.
The psyche is a very valuable and dangerous thing at times. And to just watch a depressing film and then go to bed is not the best therapy.
Not a good idea.
I really recommend watching, if you do watch a Monster Calls, watch something, watch some silly television show, or just watch something mindless to get back into reality, because it's a tough film to watch.
Okay.
And now we're now going to move on to Mr. Pickhardt here as he reviews to
I'm going to do Hell or High Water.
High Water. Now you may
Realize I've already reviewed this film last week, but Chris is now going to give
We're
his
going to
take
touch
upon
on it just
And
briefly.
here he is, ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Chris Pickhardt, our
Thank you,
20th
sir.
episode. Thank you, Chris. Please go ahead.
Thank you for that illustrious introduction.
quite
I
welcome.
appreciate that.
And it's
Yeah, like you said, you did cover this, but I'm just going to briefly.
I did.
I finally got to see it. This was the last of the Best Picture nominees that I needed to see, so now
I
I've
liked
seen
it
them all.
very much.
I really enjoyed it. I thought it was, not that I was expecting anything in one way or another from it,
Okay.
but I was really impressed with how involved I got into this film and how quickly I got involved.
Very true.
They don't waste any time. That bank robbery
I
is
know.
right away.
Very quick.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you're right away into the movie.
True.
And I was really captivated by the two brothers played by Chris Pine and Ben Foster.
Yeah.
Chris Pine is more of the smarter, the less is more. I'm not going to say too much, brother.
He's the more laid back.
Laid back. Ben Foster's the loose
I would say
cannon.
Ben Foster isn't necessarily less or more intelligent. They're probably equal intelligent. They're just different.
But he takes a lot of risks that
psychological.
wouldn't.
Well, he's more spontaneous.
He's very brazen.
But he's still as intelligent as Chris. But Chris is just more logical. He doesn't just
He's
run
more
in
cautious,
with guns
let's put it that way.
blazing. And where Ben Foster's killing people where he shouldn't
He's
be.
a true criminal, whereas
He
Chris
truly
Pine is somebody who's doing a criminal activity.
Very true.
There's a difference there.
You have
And Chris
spoken
Pine
truth.
is doing it because he wants to support a family. He's got kids. He's got
kids.
He's got a whole situation.
He's got the
Ben
divorce
Foster
wife.
is a guy who's been out of jail a year, and he's there's a great line when they're walking around and later in the film where Ben Foster's just done something stupid, and then Chris Pine's like, you've been out of jail less than a year. I'm surprised you made it this long. He's like, yeah, it wasn't easy. So how about that great scene when they stop at that gas station, and then those two guys do that thing, and then out of nowhere there's an ass beating. Remember that? That was pretty good.
I don't remember that.
Oh, it was a good scene.
What scene was that?
They stop
Who
at
beat whose ass?
Well, they go to a convenient. Well, I don't want to ruin it for anybody.
Well, you can ruin it for me. I saw it already.
Yeah.
I just don't remember that specific scene.
Yeah. Well,
was it after a bank robbery?
Oh yes,
or-
after. Yeah,
Okay.
they're heading out. It's when
Okay.
they're going to Oklahoma, and they stop at
okay.
a gas station, and what's his name goes inside. Chris Pine goes inside to get something.
Right,
get a
and he's
soda.
talking to the waitress.
No. That's a different scene.
Oh, okay.
This is much later.
When Ben runs off and robs another bank.
That's a scene. Yeah, that's a different scene.
That was
yeah.
cool. Okay.
Anyway, I'm done rambling.
All right.
There's some really good scenes in this film, and then on their trail through the whole film is Jeff Bridges.
Jeff Bridges.
And obviously he's the
playing
ranger.
Jeff Bridges one more time.
I have to ask Jeff this. You did a great job, but why did he have to use that roar, that growly grasp?
Yeah.
Why did he have to do that? It's not necessary. But he did a good job with the role.
It was kind of True Grit Part 2 for me.
It really was,
It was
yeah.
really the same character.
I'll be honest, I was kind
I'm
of
so
surprised.
sick of that old Texan, horn dog. What was that movie? Country. What was it?
Crazy Heart.
Crazy
Yeah.
Heart. I love that movie.
That's a good movie.
That was a great
Yeah.
film.
I'm surprised though that he got a nomination for this movie because he's kind of
Me
played
too.
this role before.
Me too. Me too.
They
me
could
too.
have thrown the nomination to somebody else.
I think they just kind of feel that he's a given, and that has he received an Oscar?
Yeah, Crazy Heart.
Oh, he did get it for
He did.
Crazy. That's right, and he was
Yeah,
wonderful in
yeah,
that. And
this-
he's played the same damn role. Why don't they
This
just-
is like I think his
I know.
7th nomination.
and easily 7th role playing the same character.
Kind of, yeah.
Big Lebowski, he's quite a bit different though.
Yeah.
So,
But anyway,
But
it's
still.
still a very compelling film. It has a very
I
extreme,
love the lone
violent
survivor.
ending.
The lone survivor aspect. Is that not cool?
I know what you're talking about. That was cool.
I mean that was spectacular, man. When,
No, it was a dynamite
Ben
film.
is holding court, and it's really quite a.
I
And,
can-
and it's almost a second film unto its own. That last part.
I know it's like two.
It doesn't even
two
fit
films, yeah.
in this the first
Which
part.
is what I kind of liked
the
about
film.
it.
Me too.
Almost
Me
like
too.
From Dusk Till Dawn, all of a sudden goes from this heist film,
Yeah.
and it changed into this vampire
Into a zombie
movie.
movie.
Yeah, it's kind of cool.
Vampire zombie
So
movie.
I can
Yeah,
see
true.
why this film is getting the acclaim it's getting.
It
It's
is.
very interesting.
It has a very even keel to
Yeah.
it, and then it just goes ultra violent. And
And there's good lighter moments. I like that scene where Jeff Bridges and his partner go into that little East
Oh
Bumblefuck town.
yeah, and they're
And
in
they
that
go to
hotel room.
Well, no, the hotel, but they go to that little restaurant, and all they serve is T-bone. And they get that curmudgeon waitress that's like, "You're gonna order steak with or without what?" Like she doesn't give it any options.
Yeah,
It's really
right,
fun.
right.
So yeah, Hell or High Water.
Yeah.
Definitely check it out. It's a good
And
film.
I'm going to say this about that movie: beautifully shot.
Beautifully shot.
Isn't it
It's
just
fantastic.
a magnificent
Yeah.
piece of cinematography?
Great photography.
Really stunning.
Exciting shots.
Just beautiful. Indeed.
You're in there with all the scenes.
You're in there.
You're gripped. It's great. It's really well done. I thought.
You know
it was
what else
fun.
it reminded me of? Just for a notch, just for a little bit. There's some scenes in No Country for Old Men.
I was gonna say that.
Isn't that so
I was
bizarre?
thinking No
It
Country
just-
the whole time.
That whole
Yeah, you're
opening
right.
scene
Yeah.
there where who was it? Josh Brolin is out and there's all
Yeah,
those
yeah.
dead
All
bodies.
those dead bodies, you're right,
That's
yeah.
one of my favorite scenes in movie
It's
history.
a great scene, yeah.
I love that scene.
When he finds the money.
because- Right.
Yeah.
That's when we're at dusk or dawn rather. It's right in a dawn
Yeah.
type of time. The lighting is so it's like
great.
dark and yet there's like a vibrant light to it. I dream about that sequence.
It's great.
There's another sequence also that I do dream about. I know I'm getting off here, but
It's okay.
there's a scene in Bonnie and Clyde that to this day I still have nightmares about it. And it's just a beautiful piece of work by Arthur Penn. He just does something so unique. Bonnie and Clyde have already been through the ringer.
Yeah.
Estelle Parsons is she's been shot in the head. Gene Hackman is
Don't.
dead.
Oh, you're telling me. I
Well,
didn't
no,
see
this
it
is
yet.
it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. But there's a great scene where Bonnie all of a sudden says to Clyde, "I gotta see my mama. I gotta find my mama." So they go out to this dusky, the tumbleweeds are blowing, and the film goes ultra grainy. And there we see this little old woman. She looks like Norman Bates's mother without the skeletal face. She's got the little silver granny bun on her head, and she says, "I don't know, Clyde. You just best keep on running, or they're gonna get you." And just the way she says it, it's frightening. It just gets right into my gut and soul and scares the living shit out of me. And I dream about that scene. All right. Very good.
Anyway,
I'm sorry. Finish
Hell or
Hell
High
or
Water is excellent. I can't recommend it highly enough.
Yeah,
I liked it a lot.
kind of is a big screen film.
It's a big
in
screen. I know
way,
what you're saying. It's a big screen
But
film.
I
Yeah.
saw it on a smaller screen, and I did love it
Yeah.
just as much. I mean,
Yeah,
it's just such an engrossing
It's good either
film.
way. You're gonna get sucked in regardless.
As Chris says, it's such an engrossing movie that
Yes.
it just pulls you
And
in.
it goes quick. It's a
It
fast-paced
does.
film
It's
for the
a
most
2-hour
part.
film too. It's
Yeah.
like an hour and 48 minutes, whatever. But
Yeah.
it really does suck
I remember
you
I
right in.
I was just sitting there. I'm just like, wow, I'm really into this movie.
Yeah,
And
it was great.
I love that.
And
It's
Chris
great.
Pine, I've said this before. He's a pretty boy. He's a very good-looking guy. He plays our
Yeah.
Captain
Kirk.
Kirk in the Star Trek movies. But I'll tell you something. I've never seen him give a bad performance.
He's good.
He's true and
I
he's
like it.
solid. He goes right in and he captures the role just as well as anybody. He did that little offshoot movie that I talked to you with Idris Elba, I believe, and was it Idris Elba? No, it was another black man who was in this film. The one with she was Harley Quinn.
Margot Robbie.
Margot Robbie.
Oh, you talking about the one with Chiwetel Ejiofor?
Yes, Chiwetel.
Oh yeah, we
I
still
love
want
that.
to see that film.
That was a great little
the post-apocalyptic
movie.
film.
It's not a wonderful movie by any means, but once again,
Yeah, I
Chris
wanna
Pine
see
is
that.
in that. He's the third kind of wheel.
Yeah, I'm
on
definitely
the-
gonna
on
watch
the-
that.
on
I've
the
been
thing
wanting
here.
to see it.
It's a very bizarre little film.
It's got a
but,
name, like the name of it is like somebody's name. Is in like I am somebody or I'll look it up. I know the movie
not
you're talking
necessarily.
about.
And also,
It's got an
let's not
interesting
forget
name.
Chris in that movie that was about the saving the life of the boat that's going down, the Coast Guard
Yeah,
film.
yeah, the, Bravest Hours, Finest Hours.
Finest hours. This will be our finest hours, as Churchill once said. But he's terrific in this film also. Chris is a great actor. I give him kudos, Hell or High Water. But it's truth. He's wonderful. All right. Should I move on to our next film?
Please move on, my friend. Yes.
All right. I'm now going to move into a wonderful little movie called
Split.
Now, this is the new M. Night Shyamalan film. And
Which I reviewed last
Mr.
week.
Pickhardt beautifully reviewed this film last week. And I'm pretty much going to just enunciate his particular... however, I do have a bit of a discrepancy about your review. And that is this. You spoke of a twist that was in the film.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't feel that was a twist at all.
Well,
that was merely plot progression.
Well, no, I didn't really say a twist. I said
You
it had a
did,
good
though.
ending. No, what I had
you
said.
used the word twist.
No, here's
you
what
said, and this is your very words, sir. If I may quote you, you said, "Now listen, some of you are going to watch this film, but you better watch it soon because you're going to go on social media and they're going to give away the twist."
Well, because people are calling it a twist.
Meow.
I went
Meow.
into
This is 3D, folks.
Into-
Don't put your glasses on.
when I went into the
3D.
theater. Listen,
Oh,
when
I'm
I went
sorry.
into the theater, people were saying, "Oh, there's a twist." I said what I said to you was there was a cool ending.
Those people are idiots.
But
They
anyway,
are not from this earth.
nevertheless, I thought that was really cool. And the movie, I knew
didn't
it was
think it was a
somebody's
twist
name.
at all.
Z for Zachariah was the name of that film.
God bless you.
With Margot Robbie and Chris Pine. We were just
Okay,
talking
there
about.
you go. Ziba Rakarobi?
Z for Zachariah.
Zifa Zachariah. Oh, there we
Yes.
go. Yeah, there we go. But anyway.
Anyway, do your review.
All right, my review was simply this. I didn't find there was a twist. There was simply a plot progression. I was expecting, because it is M. Night dipshit, I was expecting a twist because he always throws in that stupid-ass twist at the end of his films
Yeah.
that completely just he doesn't really care about the plot anymore. He
about the
just
twist,
wants to screw you, audience. Oh, you didn't see that coming, did you?
Well, I don't think anybody saw this coming. What they revealed at the end of the film.
Yeah, but I don't think it was. I loved it personally.
I thought it was great.
I
Yeah,
thought it
that
was
ending.
super cool.
Yeah.
And we're not talking about the very ending. We're talking about the last half hour of the film.
No, it was cool. It was cool, but I liked that last
what
few
you're
moments
talking
the
about.
most. I thought that was cool.
Oh, okay. You mean when there's a certain person sitting
Yeah,
at
I
the...
thought that was cool.
Well, okay. That wasn't really a twist, however. That was just another part of the ever-incompetent M. Night Shyamalan world that is kind of coming together in a circular
Yeah,
way.
but that wasn't expected. That's kind
It
of...
was a bit of a metamorphosis.
It
And
was
by the
neat.
way, I
Anyway, it
never
was cool.
Metamorphosis
Without
I
ruining
didn't
it, I thought it
like.
was cool.
There
But
you go.
how good was James McAvoy, though? Wasn't that a great
James
performance?
McAvoy was spectacular in this film. I love James McAvoy. I've never seen him give a bad performance.
No,
I
me
think
either.
he's wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. I commend him for doing a movie like this. I thought he was terrific. I thought the three girls were very good. I liked the desperation that I felt. And I felt that the film was really beautifully shot.
Mm-hmm. You did a good job with it.
I liked that it pulled me in. I kept wanting to go out, but it kept pulling me
Back
back
in,
in,
yeah.
as Mr. Pacino once said. But I gotta say, I like this movie a lot. It was a good little twist, if you will, and I hate to use that word because I don't feel it pertains to this film. However, it was a nice little twist on the psycho genre of film, and it did in fact give a new little essence to a real psychopath. And there is a super cool, I'm not going to say twist, but there is a super cool, you think you've seen all these characters that he does, then all of a sudden, things just go into another level, another dimension, and I embraced that. I thought it was wonderful.
It's different.
And yeah, it was, and it turned into a bit of a zombie movie, if you will.
It almost reminded me of Red Dragon. Remember, the change.
There you go.
I'm
there
changing.
You go. Absolutely.
Kind of reminded me of that.
Now you're talking about the Ed Norton Red Dragon?
No, the Edward Norton version. Because that Edward Norton version, I thought, fleshed things out a lot more than the original Manhunter, the Michael Mann version,
the William
which is
Peterson.
good in a different way.
Absolutely
It's a completely different take on the story.
Very much so.
The one with
I love the Edward Norton Red
It's
Dragon.
great.
That's a great movie.
I thought Ray Fiennes did a fantastic job. They gave him a lot more to do than they gave Tom Noonan in the original Manhunter.
Yeah.
It's still a good film in its own way, but
And James
it was great.
McAvoy for me is today's Ed Norton. Where Ed Norton
I
is
could see
not
that.
getting the roles, I think they're almost the same person. They really have they look alike. They're both terrific, great actors. And anyway, Split is certainly one of the best M. Night Shyamalans I've seen. Since
agree.
The Visit. I like The Visit from...
And it's only, that was his last film.
last film a year ago. I thought he did a great job on that.
He's definitely getting
If you
back to
haven't
where he
seen
needs
that,
to be.
Two grandkids go and visit their so-called grandparents who they have never seen since they were little children, so they really don't recognize them. And of course, the whole twist we find out.
Well, don't tell me. I want to see it.
No,
I
you haven't seen it yet.
No.
Oh,
I
I
haven't
thought
seen
you
it yet.
have.
No, I haven't.
Oh, it's
at
a
home.
wonderful little movie.
Watch.
It's very bleak and dark, and it has a nice little essence to it. My hat's off to Mr. M. Night. I can't make fun of him so much anymore.
Good. Well,
it
hey,
saddens me.
If you can redeem yourself, I'll give you the credit for it. That's
it does
fine.
sadden me a notch.
I know.
Okay, and speaking of sadden me a notch, we're now going to
Go into his Chris reviews, Jackie. That's right, Jackie. The Jackie Onassis story,
yes.
or Jackie Kennedy as she was. Post
post Mr. JFK assassination.
Yes.
Wait,
I died on me there, so I hate to lose the impotence or the potence rather.
of the megaphonian world, but please go into it.
No problem. I finally did see Jackie. I can finally see, what you were talking about.
I was
It's
talking
a
about
very,
what a dreary film.
It's
it
a
is.
very bleak film.
Dreary, in fact.
Dreary is a good word, especially those scenes where they're at that cemetery. And it's just the whole vibe of that whole post JFK's death sequence there.
It was very
where they're
dreary.
planning,
It was
planning the memorial is
Yeah.
very blunt, very very bleak.
very much so. A hard film to watch, in fact.
Yeah, in a way,
Not
it
so
was-
much hard. It's a performance
It's
movie.
a performance film all the way because it's a little slow.
Yep.
But I enjoyed the almost procedural element of planning a president's passing.
Funeral.
Planning the
Yeah,
funeral.
the funereal
the
procession,
the
etc.
debating of whether or not they should be doing this open carriage thing. All the different people involved. I thought that Peter Sarsgaard did a very good job playing Bobby Kennedy.
Oh, I didn't like him at all.
You didn't like him?
I didn't think, I thought in this particular film where the guy who played JFK...
He
which
was
you
a
looked
spitting
up,
image.
He really was a spitting
Yeah.
image, except he was very small in frame. At the end of the very end of the film, they have a dancing segment
I know what you're talking about.
where Jackie
Yeah,
is dancing with her JFK, and this guy looks so good as JFK.
perfect.
However, he looked like a dwarf next to her. You watch that last scene again.
Yeah, I don't remember
He looked
seeing him
very
looking short.
very small in frame, and his shoulder, they should have padded him up or
Yeah.
something. He looks like a little tiny dwarf next to Natalie. And Natalie's,
She's a tiny girl.
I mean,
She's
my
petite.
God, she looks like the fold out in the Biafra Gazette. Let's be honest, she's a very thin
no, she
woman.
is.
But
Now, Peter Sarsgaard, he wasn't the spitting image of Bobby Kennedy,
Not
but
by any means.
But I thought he did a good job
he
playing
didn't
that
even
part.
capture the accent, which is
I don't even think he did it.
He did a little bit of an accent, but
A little
Bobby Kennedy
Had a very strong, I know.
severe
He did.
Boston accent.
Yeah.
And I don't think Peter did
It's
it
one
at
of the
all.
toughest accents for actors to do
It
properly.
is a hard one to do. That is correct.
Yours-
Let me say this
that's not
about
bad.
that. Thank you. But it's very true.
You have a really good ear for accents. You
I
really
do, It's so true. I do. And now I'm going into some kind of a British there. I don't know why.
You're
But
split.
I am. Hey, somehow I want to pop gas now and run at 7-Eleven.
That's racist. But
But well, it's stereotypical.
I know
but I
it
think
is.
it's
That's fine.
truthfully
It's okay. No, it is. It is.
stereotypical. Let's face it.
Stereotypes exist for a reason.
When
We
I
know
go
that.
into a 7-Eleven, I generally see a very pleasant Iranian man, or perhaps an Indian man,
Yes.
who is there to pump my coffee for me. And then I go to a gas station, he's there pumping my gas. I think it's a wonderful thing. But anyway.
Back to the review. I thought that yes, Natalie did a great job. Now I
Yes.
must confess, I don't have enough of a reference for the cadence and speech patterns of Jackie Kennedy.
She caught it very nicely.
Yeah,
She
but
did
I
a
can
perfect
imagine
job.
she
Yeah.
did a great job.
She did do a
because
great job.
She really played this character
She
well.
got into the character.
She was that person. I
She
could tell.
is amazing.
She did a fabulous job. It was a metamorphosis. You could see
And I
every
never
little
metamorphosis
detail.
I didn't
every
like.
little detail. She was every movement. Everything was very precise.
She was.
To the point of
She inhabits.
the way she picked up the cigarette, to her mannerisms when she's getting dressed, to everything.
Just the delivery
Just-
of lines.
yeah, she was fantastic.
This is
And,
this is a really
is
this is
a
an actor's guide to
Performance film all
to
the way.
inhabiting a role,
Yeah.
and nobody does it better than Natalie.
She did a
Portman.
great job. And in
She
the
was
interview
awesome.
scenes with the reporter played by Biddy Crudup, those were good. She was very commanding in those scenes. And,
Definitely.
a little vulnerability here and there. She just really had the whole spectrum of stuff to deal with as an actress and did a great job.
And I'll tell you, and depression. We just saw Casey Affleck give a spectacular performance of depression on film, and why he hopefully will win the Academy Award.
Although now it's looking like maybe
now it's
Denzel's
looking
got a
like
leg up
Denzel may
after the
because,
SAG Awards.
After the SAG Awards,
Yeah.
Denzel. I was very unimpressed with Denzel and the SAG Awards. I
don't even think expected to win, so
I know he didn't.
Wasn't prepared.
And he said that too. The kid's gonna win again. But you know something? I think he handled it like an egomaniac. I really do. I mean,
You think so?
I do. I think he was.
No, I thought
think
he
he
was
was
pretty
kind of
down to earth.
condescending and listen. This is a great movie. We have great people in it. And blah 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 blah.
No, he's
blah.
proud of it. He directed. He spent a
I know
year of
he's
his life
proud
doing
of
the
it,
film.
but you know what? I don't think he was the best performance of the year. I think he overacted in that film, Fences. I think that Viola Davis, however,
She's
was
gonna get them
just,
now. She's
oh
gonna
my
get it.
God, that
She's
woman
fantastic.
in Fences. I've been standing there right along with you.
It's so good.
She's so believable.
Yeah.
The spit is flying out of
amazing.
her mouth. Her nose is running.
Fantastic.
It was just realism on film, and I was riveted.
Yeah.
And even though it was only for that
She was the
scene,
anchor of the film.
That film was literally a 2-3 minute scene, and it is the core
It
of
is.
the film.
It is.
No question about it. Viola just blew everybody out the water.
And I didn't realize that her and Denzel did that on Broadway, and I believe they both won Tonys.
Oh, I did not know that.
Yeah, I didn't know that either.
Denzel was on Broadway?
Yeah, he won a Tony. I just read it this morning. Yeah.
My voice is getting high.
Yeah, because you don't believe it.
I don't believe it.
He did.
Really?
I did.
When was he on Broadway? Probably was like a 2-month run.
I don't know.
It's not
2010.
the kind of
2010,
thing
I
that.
believe.
Oh, okay, interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, they were raving about August. Whatever,
Wilson, yeah.
Wilson,
They
August,
named him
yeah.
with
I know.
Albee,
Edward Albee,
Tennessee Williams.
Tennessee Williams.
I forget if he did
other
Arthur
great
Miller.
playwrights.
Yeah.
Playwrights.
But anyway, back to the Jackie. I thought that wasn't a great film, but it was a performance film. It's worth seeing for the performances. And I will say this: that scene where they show the shooting was amazing. That looked real. The headshot of JFK looked really
I know.
good.
Well, and also, as I mentioned when I reviewed this film,
Yeah.
we see Jackie, and we have a bird's eye view right over the back of her head as we look down.
You
This
see
is,
the
and we see
the carnage.
John F. Kennedy's exploded head
Brutal.
on her lap.
Looks beautiful.
It almost took me out of the film.
So graphic.
You know, it was so graphic and so gory, and I think they did it as much shock value as much as, it's like Roger Ebert when he was dying, and he did
I know
a
what you're gonna
specific
say,
thing
yeah.
about he wanted people to see what he was,
going through. Yeah, and it was
and
rough.
And Roger Ebert lost his whole lower jaw.
Yeah.
And he lost his
To
tongue.
mouth cancer.
Mouth cancer. It was actually it was a salivary gland cancer.
Awful.
Which one of the worst things I've ever seen a human being have to go through.
Yeah.
Specifically, a man so oral and so
Yeah,
well
that's
spoken
the
and
irony
versed.
of
I
it.
know, it's just horrible.
Awful.
Suddenly he became Stephen Hawking, sitting at a computer, at a laptop, and he had to type his
blogs,
words.
yeah.
And that is how I felt about that movie. And suddenly he's this automated voice, where his voice had just been so
It's
prevalent
almost cruel.
in our heart. It just totally. Plus, he was an overweight guy who loved to eat.
I know.
And he couldn't eat anymore. Now he was getting
And,
fed
he was
intravenously.
yeah.
It's just a
It's
horrible, horrible
sad
story. But he wanted us to see that, and I think the director, I know I'm veering off here in a very bizarre reference, but I think the director wanted us to see, that carnage, that exploded head on her
and
lap.
I'll be honest, as an audience member, I wanted to see it too.
Did you?
I would have been upset if I didn't get that shot.
Okay.
I wanted
no
to see.
pun intended.
I know, but I'm bummed. No, I really wanted to see the assassination, and I feel as a viewer, I would have felt gypped if I didn't get it. Just like we didn't get Lincoln's death in Lincoln.
Yeah.
I wanted to see it.
I know, me too.
You
Everybody
know?
did. We were
and
all
I think we all
disappointed.
wanted to see the sword fighting in Kill Bill. We didn't get it.
Yeah.
We didn't get the sword fight.
What sword fight?
At the end of Kill Bill, when we all thought that they were going to have a big sword fight.
Oh.
And she ended up just doing that, bop, 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 and that's how he died. But
Oh.
we all expected like a cool sword fight in the snow, something cool like that.
Okay.
So I think as an audience member, that's what most of us probably would have wanted to see.
Yeah, but it wasn't the crux of the film by any means.
No, but
was
it's a major
it was
element.
A minor
it's the elephant
element.
in the room.
I think it was a minor elephant. I wouldn't call it the elephant in the room. I might call it the mouse in the room that we needed to see.
But without that, there wasn't a movie.
I totally disagree. Without that, you
well,
feel...
no, there would the story of JFK isn't there
No, I was
without
thinking
his
about
assassination.
Well, naturally, the assassination.
But I mean, it's an important thing to be touched on.
Very true, very true. We saw it from many angles in the JFK film with.
Of
Kevin
course, but
Costner,
I'm just speaking
of
this
course,
film in general. Like,
no, naturally.
if you're gonna cover the JFK story,
No, I agree.
Whether it's just about her, if it's about JFK Jr., you're gonna have to show the Zapruder footage or the recreation. You
And
gotta
they did.
do it.
They did.
It's
And
like
they did a great job.
It's like the story of Jesus without the crucifixion.
Precisely.
You need it.
We know how that story ends.
We do, and
Exactly.
we want to see it.
We saw the Titanic. We know the ship sinks, but we want to see
So
it
what,
anyway.
what if Titanic didn't have that sinking? Boring. You would have been
Yeah,
pissed.
but that was truth.
Yeah.
In 1912, on April 14th,
Yeah.
the Titanic hit an iceberg and sank.
I know, but if they were telling a story,
3 hours
how
later.
annoyed would you be if we didn't get to see it sink?
Well, but there is no story. That is the story.
I know, but
That
I'm
is
saying,
the
you
story.
know what I'm saying.
Okay, I do know
Anyway,
what you're saying.
let's
But
move
anyway,
on. Jackie's, it's a good film.
It's a good movie.
I'll probably never watch it again.
Yeah, I felt the same way, and yet this particular week I watched
You
it
watched
again.
it again, I know.
I watched it again.
Yeah.
And I will say this about it. My second viewing, I was much more second viewings are always very important for films.
I agree.
You're much more focused on, you're not aware of the slowness of the film. I also want to mention Mr. John Hurt, who passed away last Friday night. John Hurt.
Hurt.
Yes.
You said Hurd.
No, I did not.
I
You
could've sworn you
misunderstood
said
me.
Hurt.
Well, I'm
John
sorry.
Hurt. It's Hurt.
You may rewind this footage once again, and you'll
I'll
see
take
that
your
I
word
am
for it.
correct.
I'll take your word.
I would not call the man Mr. Hurt. I'm familiar with John Hurt, another fine actor, but John Hurt, who
Yes.
was in this film, who played the Elephant Man, he passed away. In fact, I happened to look at my phone and go to a specific app of the TMZ type nature that said he had passed away, and as I looked at it, John Hurt was on the screen.
You're watching Jackie, right?
I was watching Jackie
Yep.
for the second time. A friend
plays
of
her
mine came
priest.
by, and he plays her priest, and he's a wonderful actor, and you can really see he died of pancreatic cancer, and oh my God, he just looks horrible in Jackie, which
Yeah.
was probably done a year before
Most likely.
he passed away, but you could see how sickly he was, and it's just a sad thing.
It's
but
that cancer.
Yeah.
Very rarely does anybody survive
nobody
pancreatic.
lives. 3 months, goodbye.
It's terrible.
It's over, folks.
Poor Patrick Swayze was
I know. He
filming
survived
that
about
show.
10 months.
he was
made it to
filming that
10
show
months.
while he was dying.
Yeah, he did about 10 months, and he was one of the rare ones because it's
Awful.
a very quick killer, unfortunately.
You know, I read a while back. I gotta go back and find the exact figure, but they say if you drink one, cola-based soda a week, like 12 or 16 ounces, you up your chances for pancreatic cancer by a certain percentage.
Oh, God, I
If
drink
you
it
could-
every day.
If you're gonna drink soda, they say drink a clear soda.
Oh, wow.
So you should switch
Well,
to
there
like
you go.
ginger ale or something.
Yeah, but then there's millions and millions of people who don't get pancreatic cancer, who drink Diet
I'm just
Coke
saying
and
what I
Coke
read, you're
or
right.
Whatever, every day of their lives.
Whatever you
listen,
do, something's gonna kill you.
This life, ladies and gentlemen, it's a rule of the day. You know, a baby needs a new pair of shoes. Hey, baby's gonna die if you throw him out the window.
Just don't put baby in the corner.
Just don't put baby in the corner. That's right. Hey, here you go, kid. That's for you. All righty. All right, I'm going to move right on now. Jackie, we both agreed, was a great performance movie. That's about it. Tough movie to watch. Dreary as hell. Oh,
Yeah.
my God. Just dreary, dreary, dreary. Miserable movie to watch. So depressing. But second viewing, I liked it more. I wasn't so aware of the dead spots. I was really paying close. I love how they interspersed real footage amidst the funeral procession.
Oh yeah, they did that. Yeah.
Film does go
That was
grainy
cool.
from time to time. You can tell that, they do a long shot of Pennsylvania Avenue,
yeah.
and you knew that was the real deal, and it's kind of cool. We are now going to move right on. I have another film. This is the film I watched exactly right after I did watch A Monster Calls, when I was very saddened, and I was crying like a little girl, in fact. I was sobbing like a maniac. And yet, I then watched a film called Edge of 17. And the girl's name is Haley
It's Haley Steinfeld from True
Haley
Grit.
Steinfeld. She played
Ender's Game and a few other
the
things.
Kim
Now she's a
Darby
pop
role.
star.
Now she's a pop star,
Yeah.
as Cat Stevens once said. But I'm going to tell you something. I love this movie. This movie is so intelligent. It's like an after-school special with hard R-rated, hilarious dialogue.
Okay.
This movie was so well done. I was blown away. This kid can do anything. I'm very impressed with little Haley Steinfeld. She's very talented, and she's a good little actress. She's good. But
Wasn't
this
she up for an
movie-
Oscar?
was
I think she was nominated for True Grit, wasn't
Very
she?
possible.
thought she
She's
was.
wonderful, though, and this film is so well written and so completely off the wall. This makes comments about people on Facebook, and and also big part in this movie, Woody Harrelson.
Oh, really? That's
Dynamite.
cool.
He's kind of her Obi-Wan Kenobi, if you will. And she goes to him. He's a school teacher, and she's kind of her confidant. And she'll go, and she comes out with these outrageous things about how she can't stand. She's really a loner.
Yeah.
She can't stand the kids in her room. All they do is stare at their phone all day and take pictures of their tacos and say, "Oh, look what I'm having today." And then she says, "Fuck them." It's hilarious. She really captures so much of the essence of today's youth and
That's
things
good.
that I personally feel. Like, fuck them. They just want to sit there staring at their phones all day long. Hey, listen, we all do it. We're all guilty of that specific thing, but
That's true.
it's really wonderful. There was one scene there where this movie is kind of, there's a plot to it. As I say, it almost feels like an after-school special that they dubbed in hilarious R-rated dialogue. The basic premise is that she has a girlfriend. I love the way she meets her girlfriend. She's like 5 years old. She meets this girl. This film is so quirky, so off the wall. I loved it. I loved it. I loved it. It just had moments of kind of downtime, but then it would just hit you right away with some bizarre, quirky stuff that would just make me laugh out loud.
Cool.
I really, really liked it. But there was one really cool scene where her brother invites people over to the house. They're swimming in the pool, and she says, "I want these," and she's older than him. So she says, "I want these kids gone now. I want them out of here. I don't want them here." So her brother's coming over, and he like picks her up, and he's like carrying her, and she says, and she's drunk. And she says, "I'm going to call the police right now. I'm going to call the police right now." So she kind of fakes it like she's calling the police to her brother. And she says, "Oh, police, police. My brother, he's bothering me he's hurting me in my no-no hole." I laughed like a fool. It was a little anal reference there, but I just cracked up. It was so funny.
That's cool.
I'll tell you, it was a very funny movie. In fact, I did put it on your.
Oh, that's a surprise?
That's
Okay,
one of your
thank
little
you.
surprises, but
Thank
it's
you,
a
sir.
great little movie, and I really did enjoy it. And it was great
All right,
fun.
it
It
sounds
was at the
entertaining.
theater for probably a good month,
Yeah.
and it did very well at the box office. And she's a great little star.
Maybe you'll-
Unfortunately, towards the end, it does kind of veer into a little
Formula?
bit more, not formula, but more of a dramatic edge to it. Just
Okay.
because comedies, they kind of fade off and they just kind of leave our memory very quickly.
Yeah, I see what you're saying.
So they go into a dramatic edge. One of the films I loved, what was the one? Wallpaper.
Oh, The Perks of Being a Wallflower.
Perks of Being
That's
a
a good film.
Wallflower. Oh
Yeah.
God, that I love that
It's a
movie
good film.
so much. Little what's her name?
Emma Watson.
Emma Watson.
It's a really good movie.
Now they're taking Beauty and the Beast is coming up, but it's a great little film.
It is a good film.
It's a quiet, moving film.
It
It
is.
just takes its time.
Yeah.
I love it when movies take their time.
That's
It's such
surprisingly good and
wonderful
deep film.
thing.
Yeah.
True. Edge of 17.
Great.
Absolutely.
Okay.
American Pastoral.
I'm going to do American Pastoral. Yes, not many people probably even know about this movie.
No.
It was very briefly in theaters. Now you can watch it on demand. It is the feature film directing
Directorial
debut
debut.
of Ewan McGregor.
Ewan.
In the film, he's married to Jennifer Connelly, and they have a daughter played by
Tell the people
Dakota.
who Ewan McGregor is, in case they don't know who Ewan is.
I'll go. Give me 1 second. Let me just finish this. So, and his daughter in the film is played by the wonderful Dakota Fanning.
Oh.
Elle Fanning's
Okay.
obviously older sister.
Correct.
And if you don't know Ewan McGregor, I mean, he came into the scene in '96 with Trainspotting. That was his big break.
True.
But he's been in a ton of stuff.
Ton of stuff.
The Star Wars prequels, he was Obi-Wan.
Yep.
He was in a beautiful movie from a couple of years ago that you and I love. Called Begin Again.
Beginners.
Beginners. I'm sorry. Beginners.
Great film. Christopher
with
Plummer
Christopher
won,
Plummer, he
the
won the
supporting
Oscar.
actor
Yeah.
for that film.
I mean, Ewan's been in a
Oh
million
my
movies.
God,
He's
what a great
fantastic.
movie that is.
Jennifer Connelly, obviously, is excellent.
Yep.
I just reviewed her in a couple weeks
Shelter.
ago. From Shelter.
I tried watching that, and I watched about 10
It's a
minutes
dark
of it. I
movie,
turned
yeah.
it off.
But I enjoyed it for what
I
it was.
turned it off.
It's another performance
But
film.
I will. It is on Netflix right
Yeah,
now.
that's how
so
I
if
watched
you wanna check it out.
So basically this story takes place, it's an interesting film, especially for a first-time director, a guy from Scotland, to make a film that's very much about American culture in the 60s.
Right.
I thought that was a very interesting choice.
Okay.
The film starts out, you see him briefly when he's a young man in the 40s, but the crux of the film is in the 60s.
Okay.
His daughter now is 18.
Right.
Dakota Fanning is very, very rebellious. She's very much into the anti-government protests of the 60s.
Is he a
She's-
preacher or something? Is
No,
that
no, he's a businessman.
Oh, okay.
In the film, he inherits his father's business, which is a glove manufacturer. The whole film takes place in New Jersey. Their business is in Newark, so a lot of the film takes place in downtown Newark. And so his wife, Jennifer Connelly, was a beauty queen.
She probably was.
Yeah,
in real
and she
life.
not necessarily was happy about it, but she was nevertheless.
Okay.
Ewan McGregor his family is very Jewish. That's
I do
part of
love
the
Ewan,
storyline.
yeah.
Is that his father is played by Peter Riegert and was almost against the marriage of this Gentile woman.
It's Peter Reigert, isn't
Rigert. I never know how to say his name.
I think it's Reigert.
He shows up.
R-E-I-G-E-R-T.
He's one of these guys that shows up every once in a while.
He does
in movies.
indeed.
But nevertheless, the film
He used
kicks
to be
in.
Bette Midler's boyfriend for a long time.
Oh, okay.
Yep.
Interesting.
That's a little-
The film though kicks into high gear when Dakota Fanning rebels and she gets involved in not only protesting the war in Vietnam,
Okay.
but she gets to the point where she's become radicalized.
Ah.
And so there's some things that are done, and she, you don't know for sure, but she's accused, along with a few other people, of blowing up a gas station.
Oh, wow.
And then she disappears, and she's off the grid. And so that's the big, where the storyline takes over, is that Ewan was trying to find her.
Oh, I see.
He refuses to
interesting.
give up searching for her.
Okay.
Jennifer Connelly is very eventually content with, not that she's unloving as a mother,
Right.
but they had a very strained relationship, and she's almost become indifferent to the fact that her daughter's gone, and is
Okay.
content with just kind of moving on. He's not able to. And the whole film is him trying to find her. And there's a lot of scenes of him investigating, trying to figure out where she
Okay.
is.
All right.
Some people meet her. He meets some people that know
So
where
this is
she
kind of like
is.
Missing, perhaps.
It's
the
kind
old,
of like Missing.
Sissy Spacek, Jack Lemmon film.
Yeah, but
from,
it's not. It's definitely not
I
as
believe
involved.
that was a Costa Gavras film.
Costa Gavras, yeah, probably. I think you're right. But this is more low key than that.
Okay.
He gets to find out clues, and it's there's a lot of '60s nostalgia.
Okay.
It's beautifully shot. I'll say this.
All
He
right.
did a great job shooting it. But again, there is some elements of bleakness to this film.
Well, that's okay.
And that's
don't like
fine. Yeah, I
bleakness
don't have
if
a
it's-
problem
if
with
it's
it.
just part of the plot. I mean,
It is, yeah.
and so forth. But did you like this movie?
I liked it. I didn't love it, but I liked
Okay.
it. It's just a 3-star film, I would say.
Okay, good enough.
Yeah, it's not a film you should run out to see.
It's not playing in the theaters. at
No,
all
yeah,
right
like it's
now.
on
You
demand
cannot
now.
see it.
If you watch it on demand, that's appropriate. You can watch it when it's on a cable or Netflix. That's fine.
Gotcha. Okay.
But it's a very admirable first film, I would say, for Ewan McGregor. I thought he did a good
Well,
job with it.
he should be making
Yeah.
a decent movie. The
He's
man's
doing
been in
alright.
the movie
Yeah, no, he
biz
did a good job.
we're talking 30 years now. So
And he's produced. He did 2 series of documentary style stuff with
Right.
him and John Borman's son
John
were crossing
Borman's
the
son,
country and I think parts of Europe on motorcycles.
Absolutely.
And I will say, like I mentioned to you before, that Ewan McGregor did do some directing on an anthology film that had short.
Who did?
Ewan McGregor.
Oh,
I
okay.
mentioned to you earlier that he did do some directing prior to this in a film that had vignettes from about 10 other directors.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I forget the title, but
It
that
wasn't 9 songs though.
no,
It
no,
may
it was
have
called
been
something else.
Something else.
I'll tell you right
Okay.
now.
All right,
But
regardless.
anyway, regardless, it's a cool film to watch once.
Okay.
I thought it was pretty good.
No, I will watch it for
Yeah,
sure.
it's worth seeing.
No, I will absolutely.
A
I
one-time
love
deal.
Ewan McGregor. I watched him. He was just in a film called. He was just in a very recent movie which I really enjoyed a lot, and you did not see. And it was called. You'll have to look it up. But it was a spy movie, and it was him. He was. Oh shoot! Well,
I'll look it up.
You in
But
here?
the movie that I'm talking about was
And
like
I
an
reviewed it not too long ago, and it was really a wonderful little piece of work, and it was just recent. It was him.
He's
and,
done a couple lately that I want to see. There was one he did that
has.
was like a love story, one that had like a time travel element to it
Okay.
that I kind of want to see. I forget what it's called. Anyway, the movie I was telling you about was
I do
called
not
Tube
know.
Tales. He was a
okay.
co-director with like
Oh,
10 other
interesting.
people. But this is his first as a feature exclusive director.
Well,
and
check out that film I was talking
Okay,
about. It's
sorry.
Beyond Identity or something.
Oh, okay, yeah, it sounds familiar.
Yeah,
but I do want to say
something,
also,
okay.
the film has a narrator, which is David
Ah.
Strathairn, who I always like.
I like him
I
too.
love him.
Well, he's in the film also.
He's in the film, yes, no, and he's a
He's
narrator.
at the beginning, yeah.
Yeah, and he's basically a guy who went to college with Ewan McGregor. Because Ewan McGregor's character was kind of like the star college athlete.
Okay.
He was the guy that everybody looked up to, the most popular guy that everybody thought was going to change the world.
Okay.
And the film is almost about the sadness that his life doesn't necessarily go the way people expected it to.
Yeah, now he's just an armchair quarterback.
Yeah. So anyway, okay. So let me
Okay.
look to see what you might be referring to.
All right, I'm going to move on to our next film. You liked
Yeah.
American Pastoral?
I would give it 3 stars. I recommend it.
Okay, very good.
Our
And
Kind
Ewan
of Traitor.
McGregor.
Was that the movie you're talking about?
That's it.
Okay, good.
Oh, I love that film.
Yeah, cool.
It's very well
Check
done.
it out.
Who played his wife in
I
that
wanted to
film?
see that movie. I know. I remember it now.
The woman who played his wife was just wonderful.
Yeah,
I can't remember what her name was, but God, she was good.
Doyla Gavinsky.
I think she was a black
Is that her?
lady. No, she was black.
Black?
Yeah, I believe so.
Some of the top names don't have pictures. Oh, Naomi Harris.
Yeah,
She's
yeah.
great. No, she's up for an Oscar for Moonlight.
Oh, there you
She's
go.
she's Moneypenny.
She's
in
Moneypenny.
in the news
You
Bond
know,
films.
it was so bizarre. I saw her at the SAGs, and she's talking in her. She's very
she's
posh.
excellent.
She's a posh Brit. She's
She's
not
beautiful.
Cockney or anything like that. But she's a posh Brit, and she talked very good. You know.
Yeah.
So, but it was so good to hear her talking at the SAGs. And of course, then they go to the clip of her in Moonlight.
She's
and,
yeah.
Give me that money. Give me that money.
Yeah.
I want that money for drugs. You give it to me,
She
boy.
was great.
She was great.
You
She
know what I
was
read? She
overpowering and
filmed her
wonderful.
scenes, all of her scenes, in 3 days
I'm not surprised.
because she was having an issue with her work visa,
ah,
so they had to rush.
oh.
But hey,
Well,
banged
it's
it
a
out.
good thing she wasn't detained at the airport
Yeah.
like so many were this past weekend.
Great.
I'm now going to move on to another little film, a wonderful little movie called Alone in Berlin.
Nice.
And the guy's name is what's his name? Brees. Here, once again, my brain.
Are you talking about Brendan Gleeson?
Brendan Gleeson,
Yes.
who's usually in a lot of Irish-British films.
Yeah,
he's a
some.
big, stout, stocky
He
man.
was Jack Nicholson's #1 guy in Departed, as an easy reference.
Oh, okay.
No, I'm sorry. No, that was Ray Winstone.
No, I think you're wrong.
I'm not. He was in Braveheart. He was Mel Gibson's #2
There
guy
you go.
with the beard.
Yeah. Well,
That's
he
the
probably
best
had a beard.
reference for him.
Okay, very good. No one's going to know who that was because everybody had a beard in Braveheart.
Yeah.
But regardless, it's him and Emma Thompson. This is a film. It's called, once again, Alone in Berlin. This is a small kind of film. This is not a big production number. However, it is simply about a couple. I tell you something, Emma Thompson, I cannot recall a movie where she is as moving and as powerful. The full powers of Emma Thompson are on display in this film. She's so good, she almost transgresses, completely, her physical appearance literally changed for me a few times. And I haven't seen that happen. Meryl Streep is one of those actresses that can do that kind of a thing, who can literally look like somebody else just by thinking it. Well, Emma is wonderful. This is a very small film, as I say. It's about a couple whose son is killed at the very beginning. He is a German boy. He is killed at the age of 18. He is their son. And they immediately, and they are good German people.
Okay.
However, they have now turned on Mein Führer.
Oh wait, so this takes place back then.
Precisely.
Oh,
This is
okay.
back in 1942.
Got it. All right,
This is 1942,
Good to know,
1943
okay.
Germany.
So we're in the midst of everything.
We are in Berlin.
Okay, got it.
They are a couple who have lost their son, and they turn on the power machine that is Hitler and the SS men, who are motivating and selling violence and fear, which is precisely what what Adolf Hitler did in those particular days.
Now, is this based on a true story?
Mein Trump, Sieg Heil, mein Trump. But
is this movie based on a true story?
I believe it was based on a true story.
Okay.
But it's interesting. So what they do to rebel against this German Nazi system is that the man begins to make cards up. He makes up approximately 285 of these throughout the film, where he is just writing, Hitler is evil. I lost my son. Your son will die too. He makes cards up that are basically anti-Nazi propaganda. He now leaves these cards in various places around the city. And like most serial thinkers, he basically starts close to his home and then branches out. Now, the police chief is brilliantly played by the guy from, he was just in, my brain is not working tonight, but you know him. He was, he got an Oscar nomination for that Speed movie with Thor.
Speed movie with Thor.
Remember
Chris Hemsworth.
Chris Hemsworth,
Okay.
and the guy who got the Oscar nomination for the Best Supporting Actor.
For...
He had been in a horrible car accident in the film.
You're talking Daniel Bruhl.
Daniel Bruhl.
Yes.
Oh man.
Oh, that movie, the Ron Howard film you're talking about. Yeah.
Correct.
Daniel Bruhl.
Daniel Bruhl.
So Daniel Bruhl
by
plays...
the way, a spectacular.
He's a great actor.
He is dynamite. This kid is so good. He blows my mind.
Yeah.
He's wonderful, and he plays the Nazi. Not Nazi. Forgive me. He's just the police captain who is now doing his best Sherlock Holmes to investigate and find out who is leaving these cards around the cities.
And does he answer to the SS as a police officer?
He does.
Okay.
Oh, absolutely. They come in and the SS guy punches him in the face a few times, because he's not fast enough at finding the perpetrator who's writing up these signs. And Brendan Gleeson just walks through this movie pretty much the same.
This sounds great. I got to see this.
The same sorrowful expression on his face throughout. He never changes. I tell you, this is an acting coup de grace.
This sounds great.
And, oh my God, Emma Thompson! I'm telling you, there is where Brendan Gleeson, we don't see the sadness factor.
Mm-hmm.
He retains his masculine edge of non-compliance.
Yeah.
But Emma Thompson, She gives it all.
Great.
She is sad. She is, and she gets into the whole act of, even though she doesn't want to, and she feels that they're going to catch us.
Yeah.
They're going to find out who's putting these little cards out, and it's going to be very detrimental to our health. And I'm not going to give anything away, but
It sounds great.
this actually is a true story. I do believe the writing at the end said that this had been done,
Okay.
but it's a wonderful movie. I literally hung
Alone
on
in Berlin.
Alone in Berlin.
And this is the kind of stuff that, like we were saying before, that it's good to highlight on this show. These little
Absolutely.
movies that nobody's heard of.
Yeah, I mean,
sounds great.
Chris and I were talking before, and we see so many movies. This week alone, I saw close to 11. I saw 11 films. I actually watched 12 or even 13. But oh, really, you must have no life. It's true, ladies and gentlemen.
I have no life.
You have a
But,
cinematic life, though.
Well, but then when I die, I'm on my deathbed. When my life flashes when my life flashes before my eyes, is it going to be my memories, or is it going to be the memories of all the films I saw? Because you're living this life vicariously through film, and and it's true. I am a watcher. I like to watch movies. I get into them. I'm an emotional guy, so I really do appreciate film, and I can leap into a movie very, very easily. And I think it's why I have such trouble with animated films, because the realism factor is completely gone. I'm not entertained by those films. I have a tough time watching them. I've only seen a couple animated films. Ratatouille was one of my favorites.
That was good.
Finding Dory and not Finding Dory,
Finding
but
Nemo?
Finding Nemo I liked. I haven't watched Finding Dory yet, but I probably will eventually.
Have you seen The Nightmare Before Christmas? That's very good.
I didn't watch that
Stop
because I can't get into it.
No.
I can't get into it. Well, that wasn't stop action. That was animated all the way.
No, I believe that was a
Tim
stop.
Burton.
Yeah,
Tim
he produced
Burton.
it. He didn't direct it. He produced
Yeah,
it.
I know, but it's not a stop action.
I thought that was stop action
no,
animation.
Sir, that is it might be stop action
That's
animation.
what I'm saying. Stop action animation.
Oh,
That's
right,
what
but
I'm
it's
saying.
still animation.
Yeah, no, but I'm just saying it's stop
No,
action
it's stop
animation.
action. Yes, it's
The
like
kind of filmmaking I
like
have zero
Mr. Bill
patience for.
of Saturday Night Live, where characters being, they shoot
Yeah.
it frame by frame.
That to me is
etc.
the epitome of dedication as a filmmaker. If you're going to do stop action.
Well, that's how Ray Harryhausen started with King Kong
It's
and all the Lost
incredible
World
patience
from the 20s
and precision.
absolutely. Well, now they
It's
can do it
amazing.
more digitally and so forth. It can all be done with a lot more ease. Certainly when they did King Kong. If you ever go back and watch King Kong, the original film from 1933, it's so interesting to watch because you see King Kong's fur being ruffled constantly through the film. And that reason is because they had hands. King Kong was only an 18-inch model. And they had all these hands on him moving his arm. And they had to move his arm this much, this much, this much, and shoot that frame by frame by frame. Actually, they had to do about 8 frames so that they got that continuity of motion. And amazing. And when you think about that, they did incredible stuff back in 1933 where King Kong is fighting a dinosaur.
Yeah, it's
He's
amazing.
fighting a stegosaurus at one point. Or it's absolutely
Well, it's 24 frames per
mind-blowing.
second, so do the math.
Well, there
It's
you go.
incredible.
Yeah, but I don't think it was 24 frames per second back then. This is filmed
Okay,
today.
maybe back then, maybe
It was
a little
probably
less.
a little shorter because I think frames spent more time on screen than they did today. Now it's everything
much more,
is
yeah.
much
I guess it
faster.
depends what film stock
That's
they're
why
using.
we can do slow motion. They actually to do slow motion they speed up the
They
film.
do, so use more film.
Yeah, and they use more film, obviously. But it's such a cool, the
neat.
evolution of our movie world is rather
amazing.
amazing. Alone in Berlin, it's a big up for me. I loved it.
I'd
I
like to
loved
see
it. It's a
that.
performance film. It's tension. There's
I love it.
fear for
Already.
them.
I gotta see
my
it.
God!
I gotta see it.
I literally couldn't wait to get back to it. And I watched that film as I worked out over a course of, I watch about 45 minutes a day when I work out. So I am able to I watched the entire film literally in 2 days or 3 days. I loved it, loved it, loved it. I can't say enough about it. It was just such a cool little film.
Cool.
Let us move on now to our illustrious flashbacks. We are running over time as we normally do. Our viewership is right around 200 tonight. That's always nice. We're always happy to have all
We
you
appreciate
folks.
the viewership.
Yeah, we certainly do.
Are you going to do your flashback?
I'll do my
microphone?
flashback right now. We can, ladies and gentlemen. That's right.
Flashback, flashback, flash, 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 flash.
Thank
that
you,
was
sir.
supposed to be an echo, but of course I can't do an echo. Of course,
Maybe
if I
I'll do
could,
mine
I would,
first.
would.
If you don't mind,
So
I'll do
go
mine
ahead.
first.
You can
get
do
it
your
over with.
flashback. Back.
Yeah, so my flashback is a film from the early 90s. It's Avalon. It's a film written and directed by Barry Levinson.
Great song by Roxy Music.
I wouldn't know it. But I don't think I know. I'd have to hear it.
Oh, okay.
But the real
Ridley
thing.
Scott directed the video.
Did he?
He did.
Oh, interesting.
Beautiful.
Okay, good to know.
Lovely.
Cool.
Go ahead.
Avalon, yes. So it was written, directed by Barry Levinson, one of my favorite filmmakers, and it's a very personal film for him, which from what I've heard.
And it's Werner, what's his name? Steller.
Armin Mueller-Stahl
That's
is
the guy.
basically the star of the film.
Stahl, right.
This film's it's basically the story of a Jewish family immigrating to Baltimore, and all about how they come here to start a business and they become entrepreneurs. And
I don't believe we used these tonight.
in the beginning we did. I did. at
I
least.
don't think I did.
Yeah, I believe
Please
so.
go ahead.
So Armin Mueller-Stahl plays the patriarch of the family. His son is played by Aidan Quinn.
Yes.
And then the film also stars, we have Kevin Pollak in a very early film role.
Ah, yes.
And a very, very, very young Elijah Wood who plays Aidan Quinn's son.
Oh, my God.
So-
He must have been 3.
No, he was probably like 8.
I mean, he was
He
only
was-
12 in the Lord of the Rings movies. He looked so young
Yeah,
there.
But you know what? This is it's a coming of age story in a way. It's semi-autobiographical, I would imagine.
Yeah.
It's a very beautiful little film. I don't know if you've seen it.
I've seen the film. It passed through me like yesterday's
Maybe
lunch.
it did, but I
didn't really care for it very
enjoyed
much
I
at
thought
all.
it was a very nice. I don't want to say heartwarming, but there was something about it that really touched me. It
was like
captivated
family.
me. Yeah, it
It's
felt
like the
I-
Olive Garden.
You know,
when you're here, you're family.
I kind of felt like I was watching a home movie of a family, you know, and
Well, okay.
I enjoyed it. There's some things that happen throughout the storyline, and it's interesting to watch the progression of this family business.
Okay.
Which in this film starts out as, Aidan Quinn's a door-to-door salesman. Eventually, he ends up having this very, very huge, electronics warehouse. Yeah. So him and Kevin Pollak are business partners, and there's some great family dinner table scenes where they're all eating and they're all discussing, and there's some family controversy, and there's a lot of Jewish culture that you get to see in the film. And
Okay.
I remember when I listened to Kevin Pollak's autobiography, he read it himself.
Okay.
He talked about all the different films he's made, and how that was one of the earlier breaks that he got,
Okay.
and how he was really learning a lot as he was making the film.
I believe it was nominated for Best Picture.
I think it was.
I think it was.
Yeah. And he was talking about in particular the first big dinner table scene you have in the film, and nobody told him, he didn't know that you're not supposed to just eat the entire meal.
Oh.
So the first take, he's eating this whole meal, and then cut. Redo everything. They fix everything.
So he
again.
had to eat like
Again.
5 meals.
And then
10 meals.
one of the actors, I don't know which one, said to him, "Hey, buddy, you got to slow down.
Yeah, right.
We're gonna be here all day." So he
Exactly.
learned the hard way. So then everybody's taking small bites and
Yeah, right.
saying the lines. So it's interesting. You don't think about those kind of things a lot when you're watching the film. But,
Very true.
so anyway, if you
And
ever
that's usually when we see the gaps. We see the mistakes.
Oh,
when,
all the time,
When you
yeah.
see the glass is half full,
And
then
then
in the
it's-
next scene it's completely full.
or
The next
empty,
scene it's
yeah.
empty.
And that's-
because they're using various cuts to
and that,
edit the film
and then
together.
the script supervisor is supposed to be on top of that
Constant
stuff, but
errors.
it's hard to manage every little element and
Naturally.
all the details in a scene like
But
that.
you like this film?
I enjoyed it. I really did. And like I said, I'm a little partial because I really enjoy Barry Levinson's films, but
Okay.
I haven't loved them all.
Yeah.
I wasn't a big fan of Sphere. There's a couple other ones I didn't care for.
Okay.
But Diner is still one of my favorite films of all time.
Well, Rain Man.
I love Diner.
mean,
I love
come
Rain
on.
Man. Obviously, I love
Man's
Rain
a
Man.
classic. It's one of his
He
best
did a
ever.
great little horror film a few years ago called The Bay, about these
Yeah, I
little
remember.
parasites that are in
Right.
this Baltimore, the
Oh
Chesapeake
no,
Bay.
that was a good little
That was
movie.
a cool, horrifying little film.
It was a horrifying
It's all
little
told.
film.
It's almost a first person through this reporter
Right.
and her camera operator.
And it was a
Yeah.
very in those days they had just come out with Cloverfield.
It was right after Cloverfield. a
Cloverfield,
couple
where,
years
which
later.
was a first-person camera.
Yeah, so
which
that
was
was
all
the-
shot on somebody's phone, kind of
Yeah.
thing.
This was all from the viewpoint of her cameraman.
Okay.
So it was a cool film. So he's a great filmmaker. He did Bugsy. He's done a ton of movies.
I love
Yeah.
Bugsy's a decent film for me. I'm not a big fan of Avalon.
No,
I
okay.
don't know why. It just never really captivated me. I found it kind of slow and boring, and there wasn't enough friction. There wasn't enough.
There's not a
character
lot of
involvement.
drama.
It
There's
was
a little
just
bit of
a
drama.
bland
not a lot.
little. It was just a bland little movie for me, and bland is.
It was a film that had
forgettable.
story, but it didn't have plot. A lot of movies
you
don't
go.
have plot.
Well,
This had a story.
that's okay.
A slow story.
That's okay. A slow story is okay, but there's got to be some, not friction, but there has to be some something pulling.
Well, conflict. Without
characters.
conflict, there's
Yeah,
no
without
drama. I know what
conflict,
you're
there's no
saying.
drama, and I found no drama in this.
The only conflict
this movie was
there's a
forgettable
couple
to me,
things that happened
100%.
that anyway.
But that's me.
If you want to check out an older film with about Jewish heritage, check out Avalon.
If you don't want to check it out, that's okay too.
Yeah.
Now
it's
here's
okay.
a movie you may not wish to check out, which I'm going to reference now. This goes back to 1972, I believe, and this is Dawn of the Dead. This is the original George Romero film. This is the original zombie film.
This was the second one he did after
This
Night of
was
the Living
correct.
Dead, right?
He did Night of the Living Dead, which was a black and white horror film from 1968. And then he went in 71, 72, I believe it was 71, I'm going to say. He did Dawn of the Dead. And Dawn of the Dead is such a well-made movie. The only thing really dated about this film is some of the camera movement and some of the camera, the element. But this truly is a comedy. It's a black comedy about people in malls and how that we all just walk through the mall like zombies. And
the whole movie's in the mall.
the whole movie takes place, pretty much 99% takes place in the mall. And it is hilarious. It is frightening. It gets into a dramatic sense of the intimacy of these 5 people who have to now live together and so forth. And I love this movie. And it's mostly about what's called gags. And gags are the element of murdering someone on screen and making it look really super cool. The best gag for me...
I know the one I'm thinking of.
Well, the best one for me is it takes place very early on in the film, and there is they're getting into a helicopter, okay, and I still to this minute don't know how they did it. And we see a zombie come walking up, and he steps onto a little thing that ups him, and the blade literally chops his head, the top of his head off, and he stands there going, oh, 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 and we just see blood pour down his face. It's so funny.
I think I'm really due to watch this again because it's funny you brought this movie up because I saw it once. I saw it.
God.
Well, here's the thing about this movie.
You've got to go back.
I know. I saw it in middle school at a friend's sleepover.
Okay.
And I never forgot it. We did this with a double feature. This and Full Metal Jacket. I don't remember which one we watched first.
There you go.
But this movie
Dawn of the Dead for me is a better film.
stayed with me.
It's a better film than
I
than
remember
Full
the
Metal.
violence, and I remember watching it. It felt so real. To me, the death that I still remember, I'll never forget, is when they take a shovel and they chop off in the mouth of the zombie's head, and the whole top of the head just goes right up. And this was all Tom Savini's work, I believe.
I know, Tom Savini. I met Tom Savini.
I met him too, yeah.
He was at one of the
Chiller Theater.
Chiller Theater
You probably
shows.
met him at the same one.
Parsippany, whatever.
I mean, he's there every year, though.
No, he was at the Meadowlands one. The
Okay, I met him in
Hilton,
Parsippany.
Yeah. He was not a very friendly guy when I met him.
He's not friendly.
It was
not
very
really.
standoffish and so forth. But Tom Savini
Full of info, though.
he based all of his references to the images that he created. There's also a great movie he made. He was just the technical supervisor on this film. He did the makeup effects. It's a movie called The Prowler. Some of the death effects, spectacular. A woman gets pitchforked in the shower. Just amazing stuff. But, you're not sitting there. It's not a fearful movie. You're not sitting there in horror like watching Psycho or Silence of the Lambs in essence. It's really a movie about the presentation of these violent moments. And Dawn of the Dead is just a classic. It's so well done.
I would agree with you there.
And Tom Savini, I'll tell you, he based all of his stuff on stuff he saw he based all his murder scenes on things that he actually saw in Vietnam. He was in Vietnam, and he just saw horribly gory things. And I asked him about that when I saw him at the show, and I said, Tom, you based all your stuff, tell me about some of this stuff. And it was just me and him. There was nobody else around. And Tom did go on to be in Planet Terror, of course.
Robert Rodriguez
had a good role in that.
Yeah.
Robert Rodriguez.
He's been in a lot of films
I
as an
like
actor.
that movie
From
a
Dusk
lot.
Till Dawn, he played
It's
Sex
kind of
Machine.
I know, it's kind of a tribute to the Dawn of the Dead films, Planet Terror. A lot of zombies and so forth. But I asked him about it, and he says, I said, well, tell me, you saw horrible things in Vietnam. And of course, it's like asking a psych patient, what inspired you to be a nutcase, basically. Or what inspired the horror in your life. And he said just what somebody should have said. He said, I don't want to talk about it. And I felt he's right. And I said to him, I said, "Sir, I shake your hand for your valor and your honor for this country, etc. And I think it's a wonderful thing that you've done. But I tell you, your movies have meant so much to me, and I just want to let you know that I've appreciated every little gag, every little horrible moment that you put on that screen. And there's a great scene at the end where Tom Savini, he's the head of a biker gang. And he literally, and the zombies are coming. The zombies break into the mall at the end. Everyone has to now escape. I'm not giving much away here because it's just part of the apocalyptic metamorphosis of the film plot itself. But, and Tom is one of the bikers who literally gets, the zombies have him by his feet.
Tear him apart, right?
Yeah, and they literally just pull him elastically.
They pull his guts out, don't they?
They pull his guts out, they're throwing his intestines in
that,
the air. It's hilarious. I mean, when I say it's hilarious, one of the best scenes is we have this mall music playing throughout the film that is so stupid and so silly. So it just adds this sense of comedy. And as we see these zombies, and there's various people, in most zombie films, everybody's wearing the same. Walking Dead, everybody looks the same. There's the men, women, there's older men, older women, but we see characters. We see Hare Krishna people as zombies.
That's cool.
We see various elements of life
I like that
would be actually in truth, in reality.
Yeah.
So we see them in this mall, and I'll tell you, it's just a great film. One of my favorite scenes is where you see two guys and they're going, well, okay, you take a shot. And then the other guy says, no, you, and they're just got their rifles out there, kind of like Ben Foster in the end of Hell and High Water, and they're taking shots, and suddenly you see that the camera kind of flips around. Now we see what they're shooting at, and there's like 4 zombies walking up, and he goes, okay, let me see if I can get him. And so they shoot him in the gut, but no, you gotta shoot him in the head. Yeah.
That was a pretty good remake. Was that Zack Snyder?
It wasn't a bad film. I believe that was Zack Snyder. That was like 2004 or something like that.
Yeah, that was fun.
I like that
I remember they were like, oh, that guy looks like
Burt
Reynolds.
Great.
Yeah,
and it was a little too serious for my blood, and it didn't have enough good gore.
Yeah.
I mean, you're going to watch a zombie movie. Down. Give me some damn gore, for God's sakes.
But,
and we're 20 minutes over.
It's all right. We're good. We're done. Anyway, but yeah, it was a good...
there we go.
240.
Hello, everyone. It's so good to see you.
Welcome. Thank you.
We're going to leave you now, but we shall
again.
See you
Thank you
week.
for joining us in episode
That's
20.
Right. So this has
Been episode 20.
Next week,
and,
21.
My dear beloved
friend, Mr. Chris Pickhardt, right here.
We had a good show, I would say.
We've had a good run, and hopefully we'll continue for another 20 more episodes.
And then eventually episode 100.
And eventually even less of you will be watching each week, because we are arrogant, pompous douchebags.
I don't know. Speak for yourself.
No, I'm speaking for both of us.
I think we're okay.
Both pompous. Well,
I don't think we're arrogant and pompous, are we?
I'm kidding. No, I don't think so.
I don't think we are.
No, I don't think so.
I think we're pretty humble.
But I like to refer to us as that, just as, as a kind of a comic.
We're good men, good guys. But a little
we do
silly.
Try. Listen,
we little actually, irreverent. I would give us irreverence at times.
Okay, yes,
which
reverend.
Is fine.
I will say this about us: we truly take this job,
seriously.
If you will, seriously.
I don't mess
During
around.
the week, I text this man, how many movies you got? He'll say, oh, I got 3 or 4. How many you got? And I say, well, I got 8. And then he goes, oh, slow down. You're going too fast.
He's very busy watching film.
I do watch a lot of films.
But that's fine. That's great.
My social life
I wish I had the
sitting
time.
in front of a cup of coffee on my coffee table. That is my social life. I do have an inflatable sheep that is not too bad from
joke.
time to time.
You got to retire that joke.
No, I'll never retire.
You never will?
That joke is a part of my life and soul and the crux of my very individuality. Okay. But I have to say that anyway, we do care, believe it or not.
We do.
So,
we really do.
I
think it shows.
I think it shows too.
I mean,
and I think
if I didn't care, I wouldn't spend 5 hours a week at least doing the post-production on this.
I mean, this guy went to the movies today to go see Gold, so we'd have another movie for us.
Yeah, I went in the snow. I said I got to see a film.
And it snowed today. We had 1 to 3 inches.
It really wasn't
here
that bad. It was all nonsense.
Nah, it wasn't bad. Well, we did have the 1 to 3 inches, maybe an inch and a half. But the roads were marvelous. They were fantastic.
It was fun.
So there we go.
But
so,
yes,
right.
good night.
I say Zig Donald, Zig, Mr. Trump, Mr. Heil. Mein Kampf is your Kampf.
Yep.
My Kampf is Donald Trump.
That's his
Trump
favorite
Kampf.
reading. You know that, right?
I do. I know. The man is. I'm telling you, we're turning into a Hitler-esque
man.
fascist
Hopefully not
here.
for too long.
I just hope that World War III is not on the quick heels. One thing I will say about the Trump manifesto, if I will, is that I do believe that he's creating more terrorists by
course he
this
is.
anti-antagonistic.
They said that this is working beautifully for them.
By giving the middle finger to the people of the world and the Muslims of the
It's
world,
going to backfire.
he's just creating more angry people, and I'm sorry about that.
Yeah.
And whether you voted for Mr. Trump or not, but boy, I think he's just taking.
It's going to backfire on us big time.
It is. I just hope that we're
it's
all not.
sad.
Maybe the whole thing will.
And you know who's going to pay the price?
World will just explode in
The
one
people.
big.
The people
yeah.
always pay the price
We are.
for the actions of the greedy elite and the assholes that run the government.
And we shouldn't be getting into politics in this
But it's
beloved
true.
little entertainment
We
show.
apologize.
And we do
We
apologize.
don't get me started.
But, really.
Anyway, we'll see you next week, episode
We'll see
21.
you next week, episode 21.
As always, somebody, if you don't know, check us out on Facebook, Film Banter. Email us, filmbanter@gmail.com. We look
There you
forward to
go.
hearing from you.
We look forward to hearing
And,
from you. Although
we'll
we
see you
never
next
do.
week.
We never do hear from you.
Eventually somebody
Where
will send
are
us an
you?
email.
Don't you give a damn about anything? You're just sitting there
do.
watching this, or you're picking your nose.
But definitely check
Are you-
us out on
Are you playing
Facebook.
with yourself as you're watching porn on another channel?
I hope not.
For God's sakes, people, just come and say something to us. We care about you. Don't you care about us? Christopher, look at him. He even
I
shaved
care.
his head. We're going to put a little swastika in the middle of his
I
forehead.
didn't shave my head. I just
Give him that Charlie
You
Manson
know,
look.
I went to Supercuts, and they throw me off. I don't go there that much. Once in a while, I go there. And they don't say what kind of haircut you want. As soon as you sit down, they're like, what number you want?
Number you want.
Meaning on the buzzer. Do you want number 2, number 3, number 4?
What is it, like
I
ordering
don't
a
know.
Big Mac or
Yeah,
a
I have no idea
quarter
what number
pounder?
I want on the shaver. I said, I don't know,
quarter
3?
pounder with buzz cut?
So, luckily, my hair grows like weeds.
It does.
So, it's very short.
It's very
But
short.
it'll grow back in a couple weeks. And
A
it'll
little
be fine.
swastika right here.
No. And it's doing this point thing in the front. I don't know what it's
And
doing.
the Trumpites would love that too.
Yeah, they would see
Yeah.
that.
I know.
Anyway, we'll see you next week.
All right, folks. We shall see you next
We love you.
Take care.